Hello, welcome to my channel. It's Tea with Teresa H Creates, and it is a sheetload of cards time. So at the beginning of every month, Alicia over at Call Me Crafty Al releases a sketch along with a supply list and all the cutting instructions to create these wonderful cards. And this one is a 6x6 paper sketch. So all of the instructions are based on 6x6 size paper. You can get your own copy of SheetLoad of Cards by going over to Alicia's channel. It's youtube.com/callmecraftyal. Watch the video and she'll explain to you how to download your own copy of SheetLoad of Cards. So I wanted to, with it being October and spooky season, I wanted to use one of my favorite cover plate dies. It is this little guy that says boo eek over and over again. It has this little ghost in between all the little words. I love this cover plate die. And I wanted to use some of the new cardstock that I picked up from the Echo Park warehouse sale. I picked up a bunch of collections. So because this little guy has ghosts in it, I decided that I would go ahead and feature ghosts in all the paper. So I went through the, I believe it was 4 or 5 collections that I have, pulled out all the ghost paper, and this is what I'm going to use. I know that the sketch calls for 6x6 paper, but I'm not worried about it. I'm doing mine based on theme and not necessarily on cardstock size. So I'll have some leftover paper. That's okay with me. I'm using this little sheet from Halloween Party by Echo Park. And this one called I Love Halloween from Echo Park. Here is Halloween Magic, also by Echo Park. All of these are by Echo Park, so I can quit saying it, right? This little ghosty guy from Spooky. And then, if you look at the sheet, it's got these little guys here, these pattern papers. That's where my little ghosties are. This sentiment on this fishtail here is going to be my little boo eek guy. I'm going to figure out a way to make this work. I'm going to make this work. And I figured I would put it across this section here. I use these Nina Solar White cardstock bases for all of my cards. So that's going to leave a lot of white space on the edges, and I want to cover up some of that. So I am going to change up the sketch a little bit, and I'm going to cut out some card bases or card fronts from this star paper. That way it's going to cover up some of this white background back here. And then on this sentiment part with this fishtail, instead of cutting it from a solid sheet, I think I'm going to use this as my backer because I really want this little guy to show up, and I'm thinking I'm going to cut this in black cardstock. So the black cardstock would be sitting on this. This will be my fishtail. So it'll be ghost, ghost, fishtail, ghost, ghost, and then in the background, I would have those stars on the black paper. I'm hoping that that makes sense. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and make my cuts, and then I'll be back to show you what I've created. All right, I'm back with some of my completed cards. This is what it looks like. Aren't they cute? I thought they came out so cute. This card sketch did yield 6. I just made the cuts for 6. And I wanted to assemble the last one with you, just give you a few tips. If you're brand new, this is good info. If you're a seasoned card maker, this will be probably old info, but you know. Reviewing the basics is always a good thing. You can't go wrong with that, right? So I'm inking up the edges just because I don't like a white core on my cards. It's just a personal preference. I'm going to use my giant ATG gun. Tape runner here. All right. So I use top folded. Look. Oh, I can't stand this. I get the black fuzzies everywhere. I guess I'm too aggressive with my sponges, or they just don't make them like they used to. I didn't have this problem when they first came out. All right. So I use a top folded card base, and I'm going to attach my card front. So I ended up cutting this the exact size of the card. So it's 5.5 by 4.25. So one of the easiest ways to do this, because this is a white card base, is to start where it's folded and to line it up at that end if you're ever concerned, and then press down. What that does is, if you've made any incorrect cuts, you can then trim the bottom and you're not stuck with white showing at the top of your card. So let me pull this out and then I'll ink up the edges of the card too. I just give it a light inking. I'm not overly concerned with it. I don't know, it's habit. Anyway, all right, so there we go. And then I went ahead and attached these little guys. So there's the wider bit, the smaller bit, and then our little banner here. Now, when I cut this out, I knew that I was going to remove part of this. So if you see it says boo, ghost, eek, ghost, and then it starts with the B here. I knew when I cut this out that there were going to be 6 lines, right? So I was going to have enough for each card, but I was going to trim off that last bit, which I did. So the B is gone here, the K is gone here, the B, K, B, K. You get it, right? So I knew it was going to fit probably almost exact, and I was correct. So I didn't measure. Math is not my thing. I like to eyeball everything, honestly. So, oops. Okay, get with it. I am going to tape this guy up and place him in the center. There's going to be a little bit of overhang. I'm not worried about that. Now, because this is such a small part, and I think that if you attach it to the card, it's obvious that it's not flush, that it's going to hang, because this is pretty good cardstock here. It's nice and thick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add the missing pieces on the edge. I don't think this is an issue with the original card sketch just because of that fishtail, but because I don't have the fishtail, I am going to end up kind of bumping up those ends. So I took some scrap of that same cardstock. I'm going to cut a couple of pieces, and then I'm going to fit them in these spots, just so that when I put it down, it's flush on the card base. It's a good way to use your scraps too. So let me go ahead and attach this guy. I've got my reverse tweezers here and my art glitter glue. Ooh. This is really good glue. You don't need a whole lot. Just kind of lightly going over everything. And it fits like almost exact. So I'm going to get pretty close to the edge over here. Well, that's too close. And the good thing about the glue is I can shift it. I have a little bit of time, a little bit of wiggle room. All right. Well, I'm going to need that for a sec, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that open. I'm going to go ahead and put tape on the back of this to put this on my card base. And then this part, I'm just going to add a little more glue to glue those down. Here's my card base. There is the top. So I want to make sure I've got space on the sides, top and bottom. There we go. Okay. And then I just took a simple gel pen and I colored in these little eyeballs. I just thought it needed some contrast in there. And then I gave him just some little highlights. There we go. And that is it. That is the completed card. Let me take you back to the card sketch so you can see. I love these sketches because it really gives me an opportunity to make it my own. So there it is. That is my spooky October 2024 sheetload of cards. And to top it all off, I ended up, instead of using scrap paper to decorate the insides, I ended up putting a little ghost from the sticker sheets into each, well, did you see that? Into each one of these. Use spooky up here. And then there you go. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Maybe you picked up something new, or this inspired you to go over to Alicia's channel and to print out your own sheet load of cards. And until next time, bye.